I find that synchronicity is happening quite often in life, and the more we pay attention to it, the more we notice it. Of course, first you have to believe in it, I think, on some level, but sometimes it can penetrate your life even if you don't logically believe that it exists. I had an experience last night that I wanted to share about, and before I forget, if you're interested in synchronicity, I wanted to suggest checking out my website, synchronicity.com. It has a lot of different information about synchronicity and different types of synchronicity that exist. I don't think it's always guiding us. Sometimes I think it's testing our ego. But I believe I had some guidance last night, which was pretty cool, because the situation was I have to create bids for my business of how much do I want to bid for each click on some ad or whatever. And I was really conflicted within the last week about how much to charge for this one bid, and it made a big difference in terms of how much to spend and how much traffic I'd received and that kind of thing. And I was playing with different numbers, kind of doing trial and error. And last night, before watching The Simpsons, I was thinking about how numbers, specific numbers, are hard to get sometimes in comparison to yes or no situations. In other words, if there's a situation in my life where I'm trying to decide should I do this or not do this, that seems a little easier for me to discern, not just in the level of synchronicity, but inner guidance. But coming up with an exact number somewhere between a penny and 34 cents, for example, there's a big range there, and I wasn't sure what to do. So anyways, I started watching The Simpsons, and Lisa was going to this art camp, and they did this musical number. I think it was based on Glee. And anyways, in it, she was told in the middle of the song that she was going to be staying in cabin 12 and that she would enjoy her staying there or something like that. And a couple kids held up the numbers 1 and 2 and made production of the whole 12 thing. It stood out, and I was like, 12 cents, that sounds about right. And then I had this associated feeling in the top of my head that was like a tingly, pleasurable sensation, which I think was my intuition or body's way of telling me that this was something to pay attention to. In other words, we might run into a lot of different information and we might think, is this guiding me or not guiding me? But if there's a bodily association with it, that can be a really good sign. And I felt a sense of contentment that stayed with me. And I noticed even today when I woke up, I was no longer conflicted about what that amount should be. 12 sounded right. So it can happen, synchronicity can happen in all different kinds of forms, but a show that has a lot of randomness, like The Simpsons, I think that we're more likely to find synchronicity in things that are random. Of course, you can find it anywhere, but there is a wisdom within the chaos. And if you are open to receiving messages, then randomness can be a way of finding it. For example, if you are always choosing songs based on what you're in the mood to hear, you can find some message within that song that might just come up for you, and maybe that's why you were guided towards listening to it, that you felt like listening to it because there's something within it that you wanted to learn from. But another way of divining information is put your little MP3 player or whatever on random and then see what comes up randomly from the universe, because a lot of times that's the way I think the universe can speak to us, is through random events. But anyhow, I know there was a time in my life where I was very logical and linear and atheistic, and all of this that I'm talking about now would have sounded like complete crap, but it is true, it is real, and I do think that if we're open to this kind of non-dogmatic spiritual wisdom, then we can help ourselves to navigate our way through life if we keep an open mind and believe that guidance does exist. Again, if you're interested in this kind of topic, check out synchronicitytimes.com, and there's a lot more information there about synchronicity and how to utilize it in life. Thanks.